to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to and watching Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, as always, my co-host, Leah Pelka.
Hi, thanks for having me. I feel like I shouldn't say that anymore. I feel like I'm like permanent here now. I feel like I should stop thinking.
You're kind of a staple now.
All right.
But it's funny, if you watch any of the old shows, I like vetted everybody, and when I had a co-host, I'd be like, yeah, no, she'll be here for a while. Like, I haven't gotten rid of her.
You're not going to shake me, Jerod.
But yeah, they just keep showing up, guys. I don't know what to do with them. Every time I get a new co-host, they're better than the last one.
Hey,
and,
you heard that, didn't you?
this one's kind of crazy, so I think
Totally crazy.
I
But
think
that'd be the
if I
world
fired
story.
her, she might shoot me or something.
I would.
And we have so is it Milynn Unicorn? Is your last name?
My middle name's Unicorn.
Is it like your real middle name?
Yeah, it's like on my driver's license and stuff.
Wow. So how did you feel when you found out that unicorns actually existed?
Yeah. I mean, since I am a unicorn, I was like, yes.
Yeah, you were like, but you always knew
I
anyway.
mean, yeah, I already knew. Like,
Okay. And Marini.
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 Martini without the tea.
Marini.
She's so cute.
Very good.
I don't know why I said nay. I think I got caught with a syllable.
That's what happens.
Yeah, no, it's been a rough week, okay, guys?
Hey,
okay?
no one is, listen, don't turn to he bitch. No one is getting on
my,
me right now.
My book is, it's like my baby, and I'm just going through these like weird growth pains. There's like something wrong with it, and I have to take it to a specialist, and I'm like, why?
The pediatrician, you're like calling dad. No.
No, seriously, like my book is my child. Like it's like, you know, you birth this thing into the world, and then you're like taking it out there.
No, I get it. I actually have 2 kids.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand.
But I never thought you could feel that way about like a piece of paper or a bunch of papers stacked together. Mm-hmm. It's odd. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Mara, you start.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm originally from Canada.
Okay.
And yes, yep, a boot and sorry and all that. And I came out here to go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I was there for 3 years and then stayed. And then things have been good the past while. I was a recurring guest star on Parks and Recreation, which was really fun. I played Brandy Max with 4 X's. I was the porn star.
Oh, yeah.
It was very fun. And then I've since guest starred on Blackish and Schitt's Creek with Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. And I did a web series with Playboy.com that I wrote and hosted called It's a Match with Marini, all about online dating, giving guys advice, mostly what not to do, but other good tips too. And yeah, I just wrote a pilot that I'm taking on with my writing partner, and I also shot the movie Chips that's going to come out, I think, later this year with Dax Shepard and Michael Pena, so I'm excited about that.
See, as you're talking, I'm like totally registering this, but before I walked in here and I was like, hey, so yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about yourself. And the stuff that you were saying, I was like, chips, what is that? Like potato chips? But now I'm back, guys. And how are you?
I'm good. So I'm Milynn, and I am an actress and a host, and strangely enough, a model. I quit modeling when I was a kid, but apparently I keep booking work, so hey, whatever.
Cool.
But I also created a TV show with a group called Team Unicorn. Some of you may be familiar with it, maybe not. But with Adult Swim. But I totally forgot what I was like.
It's okay. It's okay.
I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I just did a huge movie, which I'm under NDA and can't say who it was for, but it will be one of the biggest movies of next year.
Nice.
Exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Show us your shoes really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to see those. It's a conversation.
It's all, yeah.
It's
Hold on.
It's incredible. And her legs are incredible as well. Just so you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's exciting. Where did there's a unicorn thing going on here?
There is a unicorn thing going on.
Tell me.
So I happen to be pretty involved in like the nerd and geek culture. I tend to do a lot of esports stuff and things like that.
Okay.
And from that, a lot of you were probably here when SAG almost shut down. The writers went on strike, and all of the studios stopped producing content really, and it was really hard to get into auditions and things like that, and I got frustrated. Right. So I got together with 3 of my other friends, and we started creating our own content and stopped waiting around for people. And from that, it evolved into this whole Team Unicorn thing.
Very
Cool. So is there any significance to the whole unicorn thing?
I mean, you know, it's sort of like the geek girl thing, like unicorns, they're not supposed to exist, but we do, just like unicorns.
So is there any, obviously like a unicorn is supposed to is also symbolism for like the perfect woman, because men will say that like when
Also the perfect man. They don't exist. Oh no, they do.
no.
They're just hard to find.
They're just hard to find. Exactly.
No, when you call a guy a unicorn, it's actually a gay term.
Really?
Yeah, a unicorn is.
So you're pretty like a leprechaun? Is that what y'all are?
No, it's
What
like
do you guys want to be?
Okay, a mirage.
A minotaur. I don't know. Mirage.
I think a unicorn is like a gay guy, or a gay guy who's still in the closet a little bit, or something.
The
I forget.
unicorn I saw in West Hollywood over Halloween was not in the closet. He had a dildo in his head. He was very in the open, guys. So that was one of the most shocking and amazing things I've ever seen.
I know that actually is a terminology used in the gay community for something to do with I don't know, a guy. So there's that.
Maybe the same thing that I had going on. Maybe that's the unicorn move. You know
But
what I
when
mean?
straight males use it for females, it's like this, it's a unicorn. Like you found the mythological creature that it's spoken
perfect
about but
woman.
never heard of. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a whole team of them.
Get a whole team of them.
Yes.
We need to set up a
Like a pony
matchmaking
pack
site or something.
happening.
A what?
A pony pack. They corral together. That's perfect.
pretty
I like
good.
it.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it.
So what? I cut you off, Mari.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, no, I thought I did.
I don't
I
think
guess you
so.
weren't saying anything.
No, nothing to contribute.
She's absorbing. She's absorbing.
So so you did a show on match on finding a match, right?
Oh yeah, I've done a couple.
So what was that about?
So the one with Playboy was mostly kind of taking you through the process of online dating, and it was a lot of, again, like what not to do. Like for instance, the first episode is picking your perfect profile picture. Second one is writing your bio. Third one is the first message, and then goes on. One's about sexting, and kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of just a lot of tongue in cheek what not to do.
So a
'cause
lot
that's
of modern dating tips, because those are things that are new to new to dating, right? Like
Yes.
sexting and whatnot. I mean, not relatively new, but they're still pretty like.
It's on the newer end of things.
Right.
And also, I had a
There's
blog.
no navigation on that.
Yeah, called "You've Got 99 Problems and Thank God I'm Not One." And for 99 days, for 99 days, I posted a guy's profile picture. I'm like, do not post this. For instance, do not post shirtless with a machine gun. Do not post with a wax celebrity.
Like unless you're a part
Yeah.
of like the Al Capone crew or something crazy like that. Unless you have a reason, like that's your occupation.
I was
It's the only
starting
time
to
that's
put together a
acceptable.
page like that of bad texts that guys had sent girls and calling it a fail page. I still have the collection. I have like over 100 photos.
I have some to add to that.
I did Tinder for a very short period of time, and I started collecting like the really like the winners, if you will. People, I mean, like guys
Like the best of on Craigslist.
yeah, sort of like guys like posed with animals, guys
I'm
posed
sorry?
with blow up dolls. Oh yeah, like with like tiger.
There's always
There's
a
a word
tiger
for that.
picture.
and it's
There's
bestiality.
always the tigers, giraffes. I mean, they weren't like banging them or anything, but like still, it was just like
Yikes.
I was like, why is this your Tinder profile?
Because
photo?
there's now a whole thing going around that like guys are really interested in their Tinder profiles, and a lot of male dating recommendation is that you put an animal in a photo with you and it makes a girl more interested in you. But the thing is, I think
I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, no, it's I've seen the forums and stuff. There's a lot of advice going around that is a good thing. That
She's saying unless it's a unicorn, she's not buying
a
it.
guy with a
Terrible
puppy
advice.
or a kitty or
With
something.
a puppy, could kind of maybe.
But
Right,
here's the
definitely.
thing:
Okay.
if he looks try hard, and it's crazy that that amount of minute detail that you can tell when somebody's being inauthentic.
Yeah.
But you can on their profile.
Yes.
And I mean, my Tinder profile, I
You have one?
Yeah,
Let's
no,
talk about it.
I have to.
Go
I kept
ahead.
getting asked
why
advice.
excuse me. Why do you have to?
Because I kept getting asked advice for online dating, and it's like as a coach, you have to know how to do everything. So I've been experimenting. So my Tinder profile changes all the time. Like I'll change the layout. I'll change the
If I go to
the
it right now, are
bio.
you with a puppy?
What's that?
If I go to it right now, is there a picture of you with a puppy?
No.
puppy?
No.
No puppy?
But I
We should
figured
critique
out
your profile.
what's
I
that.
think we should critique your
I
profile.
really
Right?
do. I
Yeah.
feel like we should see
Yeah,
the
you should
profile.
show us.
I feel
I
like
have
that's
to show you
thing.
guys a profile.
Yes.
I help all my friends with their bios.
Can
like,
we
on
swipe at all?
Tinder,
Oh
on
my God,
Hinge.
Can I
no.
swipe for you?
No.
Do we have swipe privileges or just peak
Hold on.
privileges?
I have to actually see what it says because I change it so much.
You can't. You gotta
It's
be.
okay.
You gotta show us
Hiding
what it is right
things.
now. You can't.
It's okay.
alter
We just
it.
want to see the profile picture. Just show us the picture. We'll be okay with that.
No, I want
Oh,
to read what it
okay.
says too.
How
Yeah,
about
so this
that?
was
Like, I won't
this
try
is
to
an
get in your
interesting one.
business. Oh, it's a
Okay.
view on the book.
Okay, that's a
So
good
it's
one.
showing
It
your
shows that you.
success.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Oh, that's a little
So
a
James
sexy one.
Bond.
It's
That's
like
James
his-
Bond.
Okay. All right.
I feel like we need to describe what's happening
Okay,
for everyone.
this one, yeah, we do.
I feel like, okay, he's wearing a deep V-neck
Deep
with a
V.
nice suit jacket.
I think this one's
Yeah.
really nice.
very clean cut.
Very clean cut. You get to see him at work. That's a good one. He's on
Right,
the
so he's
show.
real.
So what he does is true.
Not catfishing us.
Okay, again at work. It's a nice photo.
Nice selfie.
Great. And then a nice headshot. He looks great there. Okay,
Okay,
that's
all
a
right,
good
so you're
job.
polished.
And
I hate when guys have professional photos on Tinder or anything like that.
That's
I'm
not
literally
okay for
like,
you?
nope.
You're like actor, no.
Catfishing.
And you know it's crazy because in LA there's a huge stigma with that. Like a
There
lot of
really
women,
is. I usually won't date actors. I try to avoid it. I mean,
because they're kind of fake and
happens.
insecure. They're not sure who to be. So they're the guys that kind of walk up with the plasticky smile that are really have a shell around them and they're deeply insecure inside. It's and I've met these
I
people.
feel like the opposite is very true.
What's that?
Not all actors.
They're
I-
just
there's
so
one act-
full of
yeah.
themselves and are just
super egotistical.
yeah, really egotistical, really self-involved, and a lot of that shit. I'm not saying that's every actor, but
Right.
I mean,
I also think, sorry, are you done? I don't
No,
do want
no,
to cut you
go
off.
ahead,
There's a certain level of vanity that just inherently comes with you being you are your product.
Right.
That for me, I like a manly man so much that just turns me off right away. It's immediately too feminine. For
So when
me-
you say
Right.
a manly man, you mean like the
Alpha male.
masculine that
Alpha
doesn't
male,
care.
yeah, that it's like I know I'm handsome, but I don't have to be an actor and like pursue. I mean, I'm an actor, so I'm not trying to diss actors. I have amazing actor friends, but I find it's hard to date
yeah, but that
them.
doesn't mean I want to date them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's figure out the differentiation because this is really good. Let's
Here-
figure it out if we
here's
can get it definitively. Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say the other thing with like dating an actor is like you can't have two. It's really hard to have two of the same in a relationship. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? It's like having two super villains in
You're
a
like,
relationship.
I'm the
like,
star. No, I'm the star.
Yeah,
I feel like you're
I
right
wanna
about
be,
that.
I want to be the
All
super villain
celebrity
in the relationship.
relationships tend to break
Okay.
up that are like that. They
And
compete.
they often break up when the woman starts doing better. Look at it across the
Or-
board.
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
talking
it's
about that
true.
last show.
I feel like when one
Guys
outshines
can't handle
the
it.
other,
They
when-
can't handle their little fragile ego. Can't handle
I feel
that.
like that's
Mm-hmm.
true. I
offense,
feel like
but
when
We were
one
talking about that last show.
one outshines the other, it becomes this issue where this imbalance happens, and it's like, especially if one was more popular before than the other one.
Yeah.
And then that kind of they supersede their career.
Well, actors,
you see,
the
there's
majority
this
of
like
actors are also super insecure. You got to remember that too. Like no matter
Right,
what
being
kind of front
criticized
they're
all day.
from, yeah.
And of
It's difficult.
course, there are exceptions to the rule, like Chris Pratt and Anna. Oh my God,
Ferris.
They're so
yes,
cute.
and oh my God, I'm blanking on everyone's names. Megan Mullally and Ron
Yes.
Offerman. Like
Right.
they're an amazing, because they don't care. Like they genuinely don't care. They just love what they do. So those kind of things work, but that's rare. That's a unicorn couple right there. It's rare.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what it really boils down to is just self-development and self-security. When you come to a conclusion that it's like you actually love the person and you unconditionally love them, then there's so many different things that get solved with just self-analysis. When you actually go, okay, we're both working at this, we're team, we're moving forward. And if she makes it bigger, then that's great for me as well. So it's like, yeah, continue to feed that fire, continue to let her grow. We were talking about that all last show. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, but you need two really like grounded people that
You
are
have to know who you
secure.
are, yeah.
I'm talking about like dating and trying to find someone that's like that is really challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're weeding through just like a forest of.
right.
Yeah, well,
Like-
self-development doesn't always come easy to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Introspection, I think, is a really kind of forgotten thing. Or maybe, I guess you could argue that it's kind of a new thing in terms of humanity as a whole. But introspection is, it's one of the greatest gifts. And it's funny because we were talking about this all last show.
I think people are afraid of growth sometimes. Sometimes it's painful to look at yourself like that, though.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
also,
To be
it's
critical
easier to
of
be
yourself.
ignorant. Uh-huh.
Right. It's like you want to think everyone else has the issue sometimes until you grow up enough. And not everyone, we don't get to like 18 or 22. Everyone hits that at a different time.
Well, and the other thing
it's
is though, you
frustrating.
have to remember with social media now, especially when you have a fan base, you've got hundreds of thousands or millions of people telling you how awesome and great you are. You have to remember that too.
Right.
Just reinforcing sometimes not great things about you.
That's true.
Right.
Or hating you out of stupid stuff. Like I see some of the hate mail some of these girls get on their comic feed, and then they're going, oh well, whatever, fuck it. So then nothing matters to them because all they're hearing
Right.
are stupid criticism. So when a good criticism comes along, they're going, well, fuck that too.
Right.
Right.
And they're not actually growing. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to this to actually self-edification. So let's talk more about finding love in the creative space. I mean, how's you guys' dating experience been, and what have you guys encountered personally?
Any unicorns for either one of you?
Oh God.
Well,
Ain't no ring on this finger, so clearly not. So wait, is that? I don't even know if that's the right finger. So that tells you.
That's it. You're right. Nailed it.
So no, I mean, I've dated some good guys out here, but for the most part, dating experience in LA is pretty crap.
Pretty bad.
I would think it would be a little different in the geek culture.
Not all
Is
guys
every
I
guy
date.
interested in you in the geek culture? I feel like that's a yes.
No, not necessarily. I've dated actually majority of the guys I've dated have like they're like I like superheroes, but are not into.
No,
it.
I'm saying like she's saying talking about dating in your workplace. Like every geek has to be into you. You're gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
what do you mean?
you.
Like at work you have to be like bogged down with geeks. You have to have
Yeah.
them on you. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
This is so stressful. Like.
She's like beat. She got like a
I'm
geek stick. Just like
that's
get
not
away.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to have like geeks like piled on you.
Yeah, like we
I've
could
seen The Big
invent
Bang
like
Theory.
special geek mace for you.
I've watched The Big Bang Theory. I've seen Penny. Like, what do you need? You're Penny in real life.
I'm Penny. If Penny was actually just like the guys on Big Bang Theory.
Aw, that's true. That's true. But they like adore her. Like they see a pretty girl. You're a pretty girl. They have to flock to you.
There's actually a lot of really beautiful girls in the geek space. And I've definitely built a base in that, but like also I think just like because I have like a funny side to me as well, so
Right.
I think that's a big part of it. But for me, I don't know. I'm really also particular about who I date. So
That's fair. No, I
yeah.
think that's a great thing. It's good for you to be selective because then you make fewer mistakes. How about you?
Oh, well, I wrote a whole web series about all the worst dates I've ever had. So that's gonna be
She's like,
coming out
yes, I
soon.
Where
jumped on
can
the
we
table 'cause
find
there's
that?
It's not
about
out
14
yet.
files.
Oh, what?
But we're hoping to get some of the one of my friends is going to be directing it as Canadian guy who grew up with Seth Rogen and all those guys. So we're hoping to get like
nice.
comedians to reenact the awful dates.
That's
So-
awesome.
Like drunk
We're doing
history
a
of
very,
dates.
very similar thing. I would love to. We'll talk about this after the show. But yeah.
So I mean, I've had some doozies. I mean, real good ones. But that's the thing I think with online dating too is you don't know who you're going to meet. So you're going into this.
I'm so freaked out after that woman got decapitated, you guys.
Who got
Wait,
decapitated?
what?
Yeah, didn't you
I'm
read
like,
about that?
hold on.
When was
Yes.
this?
Okay, so within the past couple of weeks.
But what?
Yeah, and
Like here in LA?
Seattle area, I think.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like
parts
a
of her
little
body
further
were
from home. I
found
feel
in
better.
Seattle. But I've always been wary. So I did Tinder for about 2 weeks, and I probably went through about 10,000 photos, and maybe like 8 people that I matched up with, I started chatting with. 2 of them I sort of made dates with, but canceled because I was like,
He
no,
was the Tinder thrasher?
What?
Like he's a Tinder thrasher? Is that what he is? Like he was on Tinder doing it? Is that how he met the woman?
it was through online dating.
Like, is that why it made you scared? Was it because of Tinder or
Well,
something
no,
like
I
that?
mean just online dating in general. Like
Okay.
I won't date a stranger. Like usually, I won't just if someone tries to set me up with a stranger, it usually won't
I got
happen.
you.
All of my past boyfriends have been people that either knew through work or had been friends with for a long time. Like I am really wary about just like going out with a stranger, especially someone you met online.
Yeah.
That's true because they were talking about that before. Shay was saying that's not a good format to meet a woman, and she won't do the same thing either
Yeah.
from the other show.
Well, it was a real pain. It was like a deep pain to actually like kind of conform and be like, okay, fuck it, I have to get a Tinder profile to like see this, because I was so
never had
adamantly
one.
opposed to online dating or any such form that I immediately shut it down, and I felt like that was kind of ignorant of me because so many people were using it. I had to explore it, but at the same time, like for guys out there that are watching this, that it atrophies your ability to meet a girl and to talk to a girl so much, and there's so much development that comes into that.
the choir singing over
Yes,
here.
because if a guy approaches me in LA especially, and I'm not interested, I do say, I don't think we're a match, but keep doing that because it's going to work on someone. Because I
See,
don't want them to stop doing it.
and
because
that's
it
great.
stopped.
So nice
Yeah,
of
that's
you.
But on
really
the
nice.
East
Yeah.
Coast, they still do it. There's still men on the East Coast, no offense. But here...
I'm from the East Coast.
I'm from
Okay,
the East
there you
Coast
go.
too.
I am as well. Woo!
they're losing
Party.
the ability.
We also all know, like we all secretly looked at each other and we're like,
Yeah.
we know what we mean by
like,
that.
I mean, because look, you're right. Like, I think that you guys are having a hard time dating in LA because you're not from the LA, and I am
Yeah.
not either, and I am with you on that. So I feel you.
I've been on Tinder since 2012, since it first started. Like, no one was on it. And like when you would log on, it's like no one
She
is
said, I
around
signed
you
up
because no
first.
one's on.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
was the first on everything. I was one of the first people on Grindr when it first started because it wasn't.
What?
When
What is
it
that?
first started, it wasn't touted as gay. So I'm like, oh my God, there's all these hot guys on here. And then
So many red flags when you
no
see a lot
one
of hot
would
guys.
message me. And then I got this one message, hey girl, you're so pretty, but why are you on here? And then the next one I got was, are you pre-op or post-op?
I was like, that question, the first one was like, I was like, better that then. And then she followed it up with that. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it happens. See?
Okay. So, but my point is, I'm always the first on everything, like on any kind of social media or online dating, because I think it's really interesting. But Tinder's like riding the bus now. Like, you never know what you're going to get. It's like jury duty. Like, it's just too, I feel like the ones that are a little, like Raya. Have you guys heard of Raya?
Raya, yeah.
No.
Raya, is it Raya? I could call it Raya.
I think it's Raya. But I don't know.
Potato. We're all good.
Whatever. Like, that feels a little more, and to get on the whole, like, being scared thing, I've now perfected the whole
How to suss out a
situation.
murderer.
How to suss out a murderer. First of
She
all,
was
you always
dating,
need-
by the way, she was dating him for like a month before he murdered her.
Oh.
So just a heads up on that.
That's
What?
hilarious. You said heads up.
Yeah. Oh, bad pun. Too soon.
Yeah, but that could have been anybody. I mean, she could have been drunk, met the guy at the bar.
Right.
Psychopaths are psychopaths, and it doesn't matter the medium.
Sure.
I think that it actually kind of separates a lot. People end up on it because it's easy, but then the easiness of it makes it sort of dismissible. And what I think is guys will throw something out there, and they're used to getting rejected. I mean, but in real life, it's kind of different because you can see the person. So when you're like, hey, what's up, da-da-da, and this girl's kind of, and he's already frustrated by all of these other rejections that he's gotten, and maybe he's drunk, and he goes, fuck you, bitch, da-da-da-da. Well, I'm not justifying his response whatsoever, but now she thinks that he's a psychopath that could cut off her head, when really he's just a little boy that doesn't know how to properly convey his emotions or actually take the time to go and develop himself to become better. Not justifying it. He's still a fucking retard. But when it comes right down to it, I kind of see the whole thing for what it is, and how this kind of perfect storm of, and what it does is I think that women are becoming more accepting towards it. It's becoming an easier thing. Women are becoming more comfortable with online dating. But I also think that they're getting better at kind of vetting and seeing if these people are emotionally challenged and playing with them.
2 notes on that. One
Okay.
is
She's like, sidebar.
I agree.
She's
I
like,
agree. But I do think like Bumble and Hinge, like it also depends on what your goals are, right?
What the
like,
fuck are these sites?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I know
I've
what they are.
never heard
Tinder.
of 90%
Tinder?
of them
Me
except for
neither.
Tinder.
I find is a lot of validation. It's a lot of guys that don't even talk to you don't even talk to them because they just want to be like, am I hot? Am I hot? Is this girl gonna like me?
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
modern
they
day
just
hot or not.
It's
Yeah.
yes, it's guys that are just
No.
getting out of a breakup. Like they just want affirmation.
It's all like
validation.
DT. It's like, hey, how's your day? Good. DTF. Like, fuck off.
So a lot of that
Yeah.
too. I find Bumble and Hinge a little more serious. And
Yeah,
then,
Bumble's way better.
yeah. And then what was my
I'm
second
so out of this
point?
I don't know what
Damn it,
any
I
of
lost
these
it.
things are.
Listen, I
you
am
could
on,
just make things
I
up
am
right
on
now.
Instagram and I'm on Twitter and I'm debating Snapchat. I'm so geriatric. I give no fucks.
I still can't fucking figure out Snapchat.
No
It's so
Facebook
easy,
for
you
me.
guys.
Like,
So
It
I
makes
don't
no
know.
sense to me. I'm like, what is this alien app?
It is, yeah. It's a little bit. That's why I'm like, I don't want to fuck with it either. But I have a question for both of you ladies.
Yes.
Do either one of you ever approach men? Are y'all like, boop, that one? Like, I'm gonna go in and talk to him.
No.
I have, and then I got yelled at for it. In the sense of like my friends are like, no, that's how you're gonna get a pussy man because he didn't come up to you, and then your whole relationship he's gonna be the feminine one.
Are
So
they
then
from
I-
LA?
Hmm.
Okay, because we talked about that earlier. All East Coast, like, don't listen to them. They're ridiculous. You should be able to walk up to a man because you're pretty enough, you're successful enough, you should feel confident enough in
You don't
yourself.
have to say much to a guy.
Right.
To let him know
Literally,
that you're
you have to
interested.
say
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't
I
have to
mean-
ask him DTF. He
Yeah.
already is. Like you
Yeah.
just have to walk up and look like yourself. You're gorgeous. You know what I mean? And say hi.
The other
That's
thing
it.
I'll
is-
say hi, and that's about it. But
Right, that's all you
usually-
need to do, too,
I mean,
Jessica
like,
Alba,
if you
like-
want it, if you want it, work for it.
Right? I'm sure that they will. And if they're unicorny, they'll sniff you out and be able to figure it out too. Like the right kind of guy will.
Yeah.
What? I like it. I like it.
Unicorny and sniff them out. There's something there. I'm
Well,
gonna find
it's
it later.
It's a primitive thing. I feel like there's like a sense where they have to.
Definitely.
It's like a resonate. Like you resonate with someone. Like you vibe.
Yeah.
Like we vibing. Like all right, then I'm DTF
Hopefully,
too.
hopefully
you
you're
know what I
not
mean?
sniffing
Like,
me right now. Yeah.
Not sniffing you. I'm too far
She's
away
like,
to
I
sniff.
can sniff you out in a room.
I don't sniff anyone with Tinder. Know that. Know that.
No sniffing, no whiffing, no swiping.
No.
Yeah. So when it comes to, so then how do you? So if you're specifically very, very picky,
Yeah.
right? Admittedly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't
And-
date that often, but I'm okay with that.
So
That's
is
good,
it
though. You're
is it just a
confident.
selection process, kind of like I don't know what I want until I find it, or do you already know what you want? And if you
Yeah.
found that, you wouldn't say something to the guy?
No, oh, no. Okay, so I definitely have an idea of what I like, but I don't hold to any standards. I'm like, oh, you must be, 6 foot and have brown hair and blue eyes. It's not like that. I mean, definitely, I think we all have preferences.
She's
Sounds like
me.
those are like blue eyes, dark hair. She likes that shit. Don't let her fool you. Subconscious is yelling at us.
I went on a radio show once, and the other host was out. And she totally burned the other host, the one that was actually in the studio with me, out.
Oh,
she was like, so I was like, what is your type? And the other host goes, you're her type.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
And I was sitting there laughing, and she's like, yeah, kind of, da-da-da. And the whole
Yikes.
thing was a big setup. But anyway.
That's hilarious.
No need for him to be like certain, but like spiritually or.
I mean, and there's definitely like, of course, like guys that are funny, guys that you have common interests with. Like, there's a lot of personality stuff there too that I like. But at the end of the day, like, I'm very open to dating whoever, and I'll know, like, when I meet someone, you can tell.
Vibing.
You're like, oh, if there's something there, and maybe pursue it. But if I see someone out, yes, I may say hi or whatever. But if they're not making a connection with me either, then I'm like, nah, this obviously wasn't meant to be.
So you're a vibe person then. You go off of vibes.
Yeah.
Like you can usually tell you don't have a type, you just have a vibe. And you're like, look, if it hits on chord, if you're on E sharp, we're good. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, I definitely have a type I like, but but I'm not saying
sure.
we'll go outside my type. I'm like, well, I only date blondes or something like that.
No, I get it. How about you?
Well, I would say the only common denominator is that they're like alpha male. Like I just can't date someone that's too like feminine for me.
Well,
like
get it, Christian Grey.
no, no, he's so feminine in the movie.
What? Okay,
No.
well, don't get it.
Like,
The
He's
actor
kinda
Christian
pouty.
Grey. Get it. The book Christian Grey.
In the
The
book,
kind that
okay,
spanks
in the
you.
book. Like my celebrity crush would be The Rock. Like that's my type.
Who is yours? Because I have one too. Like I have
So
one.
the
that I
stoic
only want.
male.
Like, I don't know. I'm definitely a
Yeah.
big fan of like Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling.
I can see that.
Canadian.
Yeah, I definitely have a thing for Canadian guys. It's real weird.
Who is yours?
That's not weird. It's great.
My celebrity crush?
Yeah.
I don't really have one.
That's just weak sauce.
I have, like, real crushes.
Make something up.
Yeah, fuck. God, well, spin back to me. I don't
Spin
really.
back to you. There's two of us left.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Daniel Gillies always has been, always will be.
Who's that?
That's rude.
I don't know.
He is. He's on the originals. He's one of those people where I feel like.
Wait,
he's
I
an
think that's
actor.
my friend's husband.
Rachel Lee Cook's husband.
Yes,
Yes.
that's my friend. I'm friends with him.
I love him. I think he's incredible.
Yeah,
Always
Daniel's
has been.
great.
Always will
He's
be.
like the nicest guy too. Like
Exactly.
the nicest guy
Boom.
ever.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
definitely have a crush on him. He's amazing.
I do.
I remembered what I was going to say about being
Yes.
safe with online dating, though. I've got it down to an art form. So what you do is, my first thing is if we're not friends on Facebook or anything like that, and I can't like do some like research, then we have to FaceTime before I'm going to meet you. It's just just an intro. It's not like
Yeah,
a
smart.
10-minute talk. It's just like, hey, are you the person
Making
in your
sure they're
pictures?
not
Can you make
crazy,
a
right.
conversation? Because I've had so many dates where it's like all they can talk about is protein shakes and their workout regimen. There's nothing to talk about. And then I'll do like a hike or a lunch or a coffee or something quick. And then if we vibe, then a dinner or something.
I have to show you
that.
the video that me and Sarah made of bad dates that we did, because one of the characters actually roll up with a protein shake
Oh
and
my
do
gosh.
the whole thing.
I've been there.
I have like that's a
Totally
terrible.
been there.
That looks
No,
like that's a bad.
honestly,
look.
it's crazy
Never
because
had that happen, but I would.
it
be
does. It
pissed
happens all the
too.
time in LA, especially with the fitness models or aspiring fitness models. They become so kind of devoid of any sort of substance, and it's really about lifting the name of each individual ab. Like, this is Edward, this is Josh. Yeah, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
I can't.
But it becomes
no,
like
I'm just thinking about their phallus and how they have a name for it as well. And I'm just like,
I'm
this
sure.
guy. I'm sure he's like, this is my unicorn horn, and you're like, I don't think so.
But it inspires, because not only do they come here to be actors, so obviously like they're good looking, but then they build this Adonis body, and then they become like so narcissistic that there's almost two of them. It's like there's like the person inside them that was, and then there's like this new person, and there's a love affair going on, and women feel like they have to kind of compete with that consistently. I can't tell you how many women have actually related to me that they will not go for guys that are shredded or guys that have like a lot of muscles and stuff.
Nope.
What's that?
Nope. Well, my ex-husband was, so I will tell you why. It's not comfortable. It's not snuggly. Number one.
Yes, it is.
Lies you tell. The lies you tell. The lies you're gonna continue to tell. I see your face. Like, don't even.
And that's the number one
not-
complaint I get.
because I still like it.
You like
Those
it?
are- yeah, those are
It's
the guys
not-
I date. Like, not too like muscular, but definitely
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in shape. Like, definitely
not
fit.
The Rock. I couldn't imagine. I'm sorry. You can have it. Like, take
Thank
it.
you.
It's
I
yours.
will.
You keep
Well,
it.
he's
But like, can you
taken,
imagine
but-
trying to get up in that armpit, like nestle in it? It's
Yes,
so
I
high
can.
up. Like, I can't.
I've heard that a lot
That
about.
actually was difficult. My ex is 6'5", and that was the one thing. Like, and he's like really built. And like when we were sleeping, I'd be like, how do I put my head on your chest?
Right. It's
Doesn't work.
uncomfortable. Like, it's like a lock and key
Well, his
situation.
rib cage was
You
just
should be able-
huge, and just like, yeah, this doesn't work.
I know. You should
You
be
can
able to
sleep on
get in
your
there
arm,
and just,
like
that's
a
a good
cat.
thing. I don't like the whole too hard. It's so crazy.
Too muscular. But I mean, I
She
guess
loves
it is
it.
an acquired taste because
Yeah.
if
But she likes the alpha male, though. That goes with that body type.
no, so let's go back to alpha male because I'm actually going to be writing an article on this, and I believe that alpha males, they're not the stereotypical guys that everybody thinks they are. The stoic male is not the alpha male. Alpha males exist within every sort of social genre there is. There are alpha males within the nerd culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are alpha males within the gym culture, and there are alpha males that within music culture, whatever it is, and they can you might consider an alpha male in the music side kind of a feminine guy or whatever it is, but the stoic male is kind of the atypical archetypal male that we've all been conditioned to believe is the only alpha male. And what that is the Superman character, the hero, the Mark Wahlberg, the Rock, the Terminator, the very, very strong masculine man.
I like those guys.
Yeah. She's like, see that I can see where you guys would like that as well. I mean, like, I can see why it would be a thing too. I can understand, like, because physically it's super appealing. Like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The problem though is that often, and all my exes were like this, it comes with awful qualities like
Right.
narcissism, but also
Right.
they can be very controlling and they can become real assholes. So like you have to find one that's
Still a
also
good
is, like,
guy,
a good
yeah.
guy,
Right.
which is now like the omega male, which is the alpha male, but has like feelings, which is again a unicorn.
It's like a
Really
Pokemon
hard
that's
to
evolved.
find.
Yeah.
Alpha male evolved into
Right.
Omega male.
It's true though.
See, I need like a different morph though. I like that.
We
though.
call
I
that
feel
the
like
modern male around
I
here.
feel like we have grown into superbugs too. We now need new tastes as well. We need a man not only that has money, but he has to be good looking and has to be like so that we're morphing types. I feel like that's a good morph, and I feel like different people go into different different types of things. Like I have to have a guy who's both intellectual on that front and also is a nice guy. So it's like that's just a different side of what I don't want him to have a terrible body, but it's just not my first on my priority list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been on so many dates where I'm like, you're so beautiful, just stop talking.
Right.
And that's
right.
the worst. You want to enjoy your time with
Yeah.
someone too. Like I can't
Absolutely.
just go for looks, but they are nice.
Yeah.
He does wear that suit well, or it does wear him well. You know what I mean?
What do you think?
Just about guys or about what in
How
general?
about what she was saying? Just going for looks versus personality. I mean, what
I
do you
mean,
go
I
for
definitely
most?
don't just go for looks. Obviously, I think there is a primal instant attraction thing that happens for everyone. It's just how we're built. It's human nature. And you're like,
Biological compatibility.
absolutely. And you're like, hey, like that person, I'm attracted to them. And so it creates interest. But obviously, if there's nothing to support that on a personality level, then it's not going to work.
I agree with you. It's like Mario Brothers when you get the mushroom and you like one up and you get bigger and bigger. It's like some men have evolved and like turned into these like creatures where they have a couple different facets that they're really good at, and it's just super impressive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like it's like
That's what modern male's
what
all
if some of them
about.
have Yoshis? I mean,
It's trying
even
to
better.
separate
You like that,
guys
don't you?
from being like, okay, so you're naturally the stoic male, you're the alpha male. You can also have feelings. You can also be sensitive. You don't have to be right. And I think a lot of what creates the stoic alpha male is they have that drive. Okay, so the drive's in them, which creates a sort of competitive nature, and they don't ever want to be wrong. So they're always pushing themselves. They're always trying to be better than the men around them, which then creates, it's a self-edification process. So they're kind of always at the top of trends. They're kind of always, they're the leaders,
Yeah.
I think it's like the peacock situation.
No, it's more than that. So then they end up, always trying to be at refining themselves. But what that does is it kind of simultaneously creates this fear that they need to always be right. And what you'll end up with is a stoic male who tends to be controlling because he's afraid of anything outside of his zone of understanding. So instead of dealing with it and thinking about it or ever risking being wrong about what he, presupposes, he's going to go, no, you're just going to do that. For a lot of women, a guy that can be a little controlling is actually comforting because, they don't want to pick where they want to go to eat. They don't want to do this. They don't want to make the decisions. So a guy that says, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to do this, can
I
be
don't think
attractive.
that's controlling though. I think that's just decisive. There's a difference between
It
like
can.
you're going to do this or let's do this. you know?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a difference between being controlling and being decisive. But also, that quality can evolve out of a man that's kind of like, I don't really care. We're gonna go here. This is what I'm hungry for. This is what we're gonna do. You can have that line
like
between being decisive and domineering is very, very. It's a very thin line, and sometimes, I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes it is decisive, and if you want to do something else, it's like, cool, we'll do something else. But it can get to a place where, and a lot of stoic alpha males, and this is kind of like the wrong side of it, where we're gonna go do this, and it's all, it doesn't matter what you think or feel, because we're gonna go do this, and it comes from a self-centered place, and what they end up doing and being is scared. What they're really, really good at doing is they're scared of being wrong. Or what they're really, really good at masking, is that they're terrified of being wrong. They're terrified. And I've seen this because I've, in a lot of circumstances, I'm an alpha male, but I've also backed off to kind of play with people to see what, and in meeting other alpha males and in getting to know them and trying to kind of break through what their, that ego, that the stoic nature that they've built up as kind of a defense mechanism. You can see when it's actually real and they're just like that, or if it's been built up over time because they're afraid and they're actually like super competitive. Does that make sense? Because you're looking at me like you're super confused.
No, I agree with you. I was just listening to you and I was kind of digesting and kind of adding in my own comments at the same time. I was like taking notes in my head mentally. No, I agree with you, because I think it's just like what we were talking about a minute ago. It's the less evolved men, where instead of saying something and it being kind of sexy and kind of one of those things where he's being gentle, but he's like, look, I'm gonna take you out to a nice restaurant, like we're gonna do this and it's gonna be nice, we're gonna have a great time. And I was like, oh, daddy, to like, you know what I mean, like instead of being like, or it's like, listen, here, we're going here tonight. It's like, oh, you dick, you know what I mean? Like it's the knowing how to be an adult and present the message in the right way and being more evolved as a male. I think that, you know what I mean, that we were just exactly talking about, just like you're saying, it's like the reverse of that. The guys who don't know how to do that just yet are the ones who are the insecure ones when it goes poorly. And it's, I think that there's a lot more of them, just because we were talking about earlier. Most people don't want to look at themselves. And they don't want to grow up. So that's the part you have to do. Like that's self-growing up.
So that's the difference between finding an alpha male or what a perceived alpha male that ends up being a dick and controlling, is really where his alpha stemmed from, or his development stemmed from. I don't think that you're necessarily born an alpha male. I think that we're born with an innate sense of how much drive or purpose we have. And that kind of creates any sort of leadership qualities that we have. But I think at the end of the day, drive is like everything.
A good alpha male is like a fine-tuned skill.
Yeah.
Like it comes with time, I think, right? And experience through how to treat a woman.
When you got a bad alpha male or a bad stoic male and he's super controlling and he's kind of a dick and all these different things, I think that stems from his motivating factors being fear. And I think that when you've got a good one that's been developed and he's all of those decisive qualities, that stems from his, his developmental need being love, and being that he wants to become better and greater for himself and for the people around him, and that he's open to being wrong. Because some of the greatest leaders and some of the people that I know that are, what I would consider some of the best alpha males, were people that would readily admit when they're wrong, and they would just take responsibility for it and be like, okay, cool, sorry I did that, I'm gonna fix that. But they weren't bitchy, they weren't feminine, they were just, So I'm going to write a whole article on this, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack this for like 10 minutes on my alpha theories.
He bitches. But question, what do you guys think is the most alpha quality? What do you think makes a good alpha and a bad one? The same inversely. Confidence. There it is. It's your favorite word, the C word.
Yeah, and confidence is a byproduct of drive.
Yeah, I was going to say responsibility.
I love them again. I love when we have great, like, it's like one of those things where it's like when it's the same answers, when you hear someone answer and they answer in a juvenile way, you're like, less evolved, not a good representation. But you guys, like, you're nailing it. You're right. Like, those are the things that evolved women look for. Women who have know what they want, decisive, grown up, great to date women. And
so let's talk about responsibility. So when it comes down to it, I kind of define that in my book. Women like to be taken care of, not in the sense that like women want to be helpless creatures, but they want to know that a man is taking care.
But I think that's like a primal instinct thing again. I mean, it's just like, and that's not, I think people take that the wrong way often. They think that, women want things paid for, this and that. I was like, that's not always what being like, yes, some women want that, some women don't. But that's not what being taken care of necessarily translates translates for every woman.
Right.
Sometimes it's emotionally, just sometimes it's knowing that their partner will be there and they can depend on them. Like that is what care means.
Like the love languages, whatever your love language is, however you feel loved, can be whatever the key is to your successful relationship.
Being taken care of is different for everyone.
Right.
Definitely. And that's in the book. How exciting. I love it. I love going through these things and kind of like refreshing and talking to people about women about the things that they are most attracted to, and realizing that, you know, I wrote an entire fucking book on this, and it's like, oh yeah, there's that part, you know, it's so nice.
What about you? Sorry, I have to ask her. The alpha qualities on your own confidence. Like, how do you feel about that? What is confident to you?
Confidence means like you give zero fucks about everything else, like, other than your drive, your ambition, where you're going, but you are still open to other people, and there's a charisma about that, and you want to be around that person because they're very solid in their morals and their beliefs and what they're doing. There's no straying.
So they have
like,
an internal moral compass, and they have a direction they're going in, and if there's a salmon going upstream, that's just everyone else's problem.
And they take care of shit. You don't have to worry about them. Like you know that they've got it. They've got their lane covered. You know,
Daddy, I got you. Okay. I feel you.
Yeah, and the thing about confidence is a byproduct of drive. You know, drive, working at something, going out there, getting. It's why I call it a go-getter. That's why people like go-getters. Right. And that's also like innately. Females are attracted to that biologically because they want to know that they can procreate with you, that, you know, they can put themselves in a vulnerable position to raise children, and that you're going to go out and continue to do that. That's why desire in a man in and of itself separately is attractive. When a man sits down and says, you know, I want to do this for some reason, I never understood this, but guys that are like, oh, I don't know what I want. Yeah. It's so unattractive to women. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Because for the longest time I was like, why does that? I'm like, I never put that together. I'm like, why in the world is that so disgusting? Because we're used to that all the time. That's all we see. You ask a girl what she wants, she's like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's like, okay.
That is not a very evolved girl then. That's the thing.
Right.
Like, the reverse is true too. You know what I mean? Like, yes, guys like that exist, but girls like that exist too. And if you're dating that person.
I would hope like your answer would be the same too. If we asked you like what would make an alpha female, it would be confidence and you know what I mean? So I think that they attract one another.
And it's funny because you know, we tend to think of males and females as opposites, but it's the exact same qualities that actually make women more attractive to men. Go for it.
I agree, but I do think there's an inherent like yin and yang to like the masculine femininity thing too.
Certainly.
But I do think they definitely reflect one another.
Because they definitely look at you first and they're like, before they can approach you. You know what I mean? That's something that we don't do as women. Do you know what I mean? So there's definitely a difference in the same thing, but they look first like,
when men find girls that are, you know, super confident or they're driven, it's compelling to them. They're magnetically attracted to them. What they don't realize is that their own self-development might not be up to that place, and they end up going after the girl and then trying to control her and break her down because they're insecure.
Yeah.
So
and what she's doing, a confident woman tends to make them even more insecure.
Yeah.
What is the
it's
worst?
like a moth going into a flame.
So what is your biggest turn off? The one thing that you're just like, ugh, when it happens, you just can't go. There's no retrograde from that.
I mean, I think it's definitely one of the things is a lack of drive. I was dating a guy, actually my last boyfriend. I was dating a guy.
Not to say any names, but you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Super you know who you are.
Super attractive, really nice, but was working in a terrible job, and I kept trying to help him, and he just had a dangerous job too, and that he could do better, and he just had no drive to like do better for himself, you know, and like go for something better. He was just kind of lazy and was like, yeah, whatever. This job's probably gonna kill me, but I'll just go do it.
Now let me ask you a question. Did it make you feel at all like you had kind of failed in a way that you weren't able to nurture his capacity to go out there and kind of meet his potential?
No.
So it didn't make you feel bad about yourself whatsoever?
Not even a little bit, because I did. I tried to help in so many different ways, and I realized that
you just dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't lowering my bar for you, bitch.
Yeah, 100%. Like, just dumb and lazy. And I was like,
right.
I can't be in this relationship anymore. I was like,
we're done here.
We're done. Yeah, I was like, we're done here.
How about you?
Oh, it's hard. I mean, I think insecurity is the umbrella, but there's so many pieces under that. Like, that's a big thing for me. I'm a Capricorn, so when I see a guy at work is when I'm like most attracted to him, because I'm like, he's doing what he loves, he's passionate about what he loves. Like, that's so sexy and exciting to me. But
I agree.
anything that if they're, you know, rude to other people because they're insecure in themselves or like that kind of stuff, like
Right.
if they're lazy and not punctual and that kind of stuff, like I'm just like,
disrespectful.
ew. Yeah.
Right.
So I think a lot goes under that umbrella. But
Just be a
means
goddamn adult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's so many Peter Pans in LA, and they pride themselves on
What's a
being.
Peter Pan?
Oh, a guy that does not want to
wanna
grow up.
That's a Peter Pan syndrome. I didn't know.
I mean,
didn't
here's
know
the
that. I
thing.
love it.
It's one thing to be like a child at heart or, you
Yes.
know,
Right.
do fun things. But in the same respect, like when it comes time to put on your fucking big boy or
Pay
big
your
girl
bills,
pants,
girl.
do your
like boys,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Really
responsibility
simple.
and respect.
Right.
And I think what it really boils down to is that it's a very self-centered nature. So when you're talking about them not growing up, they're acting like children. So they're spoiled and they're not thinking about other people. I'm a fucking total kid
Peter
at heart.
Pan.
I'm crazy. Like I will do anything when it comes right down to it. Like I can have fun doing anything, and I'm definitely a kid at heart. But I know when to be an adult and when to respect other people and when to stand up and actually, you know, display the qualities that would create an adult. And I see that. And it's the same thing with fuckboys, right? The whole fuckboy syndrome.
Oh my God. Hashtag no fuck boys.
No fuck boys. I didn't understand what that term meant until a while back.
I feel like
I just
everybody's
assume it's like
trying to.
most guys.
Yeah.
Pretty
Like,
much
I
every
mean,
guy that we're describing, like all the bad qualities, are a fuck boy.
I got it. They're like,
Yeah,
they have mating calls.
Like,
They're
you
the
don't
guys
take
that
them
text you. They're like,
seriously.
"Hey, girl, you still awake?" You're like, "Oh,
Fuck boy. That's
yeah."
a fuck boy.
Or like
Yeah.
send nudes. You're like, "Probably
That's
not."
a fuck boy.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. Okay, I figured it out.
And
Easy.
it's, you know, fuckboy is this huge umbrella term that just covers like all bullshit created by all men. That's kind of a cop-out term when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
I like the Peter Pan one.
Does that double as Michael Jackson? Can we say that too? Like, didn't want to grow up either because he like was the
Oh,
whole
sorry.
Peter Pan thing too. Can we do that as well?
Sure.
Double it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Like Peter Pan / Michael Jackson syndrome. I got
Well, I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, when
Michael
you said
Jackson's a
Peter
little
Pan,
bit
I
more,
thought you
like,
meant Pretty Boy.
petty.
I was like, okay, so, I mean, we got to have a thing for that, like a lot of Zoolanders, maybe. I don't know.
There's so many.
It's just guys that are like incredibly vain and
Just no substance.
No substance
True.
at all. I'm like, how did you get
Yeah.
this far in life with no substance? But I'm like, oh, and your looks, okay.
To be fair, there's a lot of girls out there like that as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And you know what?
true.
I don't see that as much because I feel like I have these great Canadian girlfriends that are grounded and awesome.
Yeah.
So when I hear the guy's side and there are girls like that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, I've
Yeah.
definitely run into
Yeah.
those girls.
I
Yeah.
agree with you as well. It's shocking. I mean, it's almost like, oh, our sex. What is going on?
Yeah.
Well, I
Hold
think
on.
entertainment has a lot to do with it. For a long time, I didn't watch TV. I didn't do a lot of, you know, and not to knock on entertainment because we're going to be producing a lot of stuff, and you guys are also in entertainment. But when it comes down to it, I think it's becoming too easy to kind of sit there in front of something and just let flashing lights entertain you. There's no, you know, there's no push for critical thinking whatsoever in life. But I don't know. Maybe if you're stupid, you're stupid. And because I'm sitting here on Facebook going, "Oh wow, that's really interesting." Like my Facebook is filled with like science journals and shit. You know,
My Twitter's like that.
Yeah, mine's full
Twitter's
of
like
like a
that.
bunch of creative people.
Yeah.
Right,
And
that's
scientists.
nice.
One of my friends actually is a scientist. He works at JPL.
Oh, wow.
Actually,
Cool.
He actually helped get the Mars rover on there, and I think he drives it. Or he was one of the main engineers.
He's
for
like
it.
the real Howard Wolowitz.
Yes, he is.
That's very cool.
Did you hear about the story? Like,
He's the NASA Mohawk guy.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
so wait, do aliens exist?
So far, no.
Okay, because there was like this big thing about the Mars rover. They found like a shadow on it that looked like a dude, and I'm not really a big conspiracy theorist, but when it comes down to it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Have we found aliens?
You guys should have Bob back as one of your guests, and you can ask him all about
Yeah, yeah, that's an
Right,
awesome
that's-
idea. Yeah,
Wait, can we have that guy who's the Jedi too?
it. Obi-Wan, I'm sure, yeah.
I need that guy in my life.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
I want to see his car, and B, want to have him on here with his lightsaber. Everything. I want the whole kit and caboodle.
I forgot one other piece that
Yeah.
I thought was really feminine, and for me is really unattractive for me is when a guy's like too into social media. I think it's one thing for girls to be, but when guys are
That's a tough-
constantly. Like if you're having dinner with them and they're on Instagram and Snapchat, I'm like, pay attention to me right now.
Yeah.
Well,
A.
you shouldn't have your phone in your hand. If
Yeah,
you're
I
always
there.
put my
phone
That's
down.
the thing.
Right.
B is also like if guys have too many selfies, I don't care if you're a model or what it is. Like I just am not going to be attracted to that. But totally, everyone has their own things they're attracted to. I'm just saying for me,
I get what you're saying, but
can't.
you have to remember for some people it's a business. I book a ton of work from Instagram.
no, I'm not talking
So-
about women though.
Yeah, for women
I'm
it's
talking
totally
about
different.
guys.
Guys
It's a
book work
different
from
thing.
Instagram
But
too.
then use your modeling shots. I feel like if every photo is a selfie, I'm like, I can't talk to them. Myself.
Brands actually really like. I was like, I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy to be like. "Ugh."
For me, I'm just saying for me.
I get what
though.
you're saying.
Yeah.
yeah,
I just wouldn't
certainly.
do it.
I can see that. I never really, I can't. I've never been able to bring myself to be like, I'm gonna post that. Like I'll take pictures when we're with friends, when we're out doing stuff, like as long as it, stuff like that. But like, I had to like force Instagram. I like forced myself to sit down and start building a following because I was like, this shit's important. I guess.
Learn about someone on Instagram, like a guy. I like when you can, because that's part of like when I started like
internet stalking. Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, hold on to your hat, sweetheart. Because here's the thing, like that's part of how like I started my crush with Daniel was because I had a moment where I saw him on TV and I Googled him and then I saw all of his art and just how deep and incredible he was as a person, and that is what drew me to him.
And super attractive, and you're like, oh wow, this
that was cool first thing I saw.
But
that
every
was
picture
he was
a
like
selfie,
a sex
was
scene
it?
too. It was ridiculous. I was like, really, like really, but it was just he was just. I mean, it was that was what drew me to him, and he didn't have a lot of stuff like that, and like a lot of selfies and stuff. So I I see that point, but I think when you get to a point in acting, it's like you really don't have to post selfies.
Yeah,
you probably gets plenty of work anyway.
It's people that are building for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and to Marnie's point, like I mean, we're talking about selfies specifically. If you're having photos taken of you, or if you're, even if they're kind of crap quality, but if they're, photographers are coming in taking photos of you in different poses and all that stuff, like I think that's fine for especially a guy who's an aspiring model. But when it comes to constantly being like,
no, I don't want to be this guy.
Just
but
duck
like,
lipping it.
Be that guy. Be that guy.
Sorry, let me tell you like
guy.
the other side of it. So like someone who started out in YouTube, like in the early days and things like that, like unfortunately, like I know what you guys are trying to say.
It's all about the selfie game,
like,
huh?
People actually organically really respond to selfies well. Like I've noticed on like my own Instagram, like I used to hate posting selfies, but people love them. People really
that's what they like the most.
That.
I have to be honest with you. On
it's
mine,
crazy.
I have to be honest with you. That's what
you're talking about for booking
you post
work.
them is true.
But the thing is, like, they're not. It's not a separate thing. Like booking work and like controlling your social media, fan base or whatever, or interest, whatever you want to call it. It's all about that engagement, and if people really like selfies, like you want to keep them engaged. Like you can show them pictures of like, hey, here's this cool thing I'm doing, but sometimes they just want to see your stupid face doing something stupid.
I found the complete opposite on my Instagram anyway. I get so much love on the pro photos.
It depends what kind of selfies you're posting and how you're posting them too.
I guess there's an art. Yeah,
I have to be honest with both of you guys, because here's the thing. What I love about Instagram is when you can learn who the person really is. And sometimes people are selfie people, and I'm okay with that. And if they're genuinely that person and it comes across that way, I'm okay with it. If it's forced and it's in our faces and you're taking naked pictures and you're not talking about anybody but Kim Kardashian. So I'm just saying, like,
she is someone that runs her social media, though. She has a whole team running her social media.
Right, but like put the bars away and relax. Like, it's fine. You've had kids. You look great. We know. Stop. Like, it's too much. So I mean, but that feels forced. But I feel like if people are selfie people and that's like how they express themselves and that's their art, then cool. But if they're forcing it and you can tell that they're just taking selfies because they're vain, then it's do you know what I mean? So I feel
it's always the attitude behind it.
Right. I feel like I can see both sides of the coin on this one. Like, I feel like if I had to look at it, I could see both of y'all's points. You know what I mean? Because I feel like
I'm not hating on selfies. I'm just saying I don't want to date a guy whose every picture is a selfie. For me, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? What have you guys got to promote? We are almost out of time.
I'm at Popgloss, which is POPGLOSS on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Vine, everything.
Okay.
I'm at Milynn, MILYNN, Sarley, SARLEY, at Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. And then I also have I'm relaunching my clothing brand, Fatal Fox. You can go to Fatal, FATAL, Fox, FOX.com. And I'm doing a Sailor Moon inspired line, which I'm wearing one of the shirts from right now.
A dope brand name, too.
Thanks.
Very dope.
And
Leah Pelka at Instagram and Twitter. I mean,
it's always ladies first, Leah. You always act so surprised when I turn to you.
No, it's Instagram and Twitter. That's all I do. I'm super geriatric. I'm sorry.
And as always, you can find us at modernmailinc.com/radio. You can find me on Twitter at Mail Methodology, on Instagram at modern.mail. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Won't be around forever. And that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Mail Radio.
You're listening to Modern Mail Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.